Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Forecast, and today's we're going through my championship predictions for game week 28, and this is a midweek game week, so that could play a factor in these games. So starting off with Charlton at home to a derby. Charlton are coming off a really good win against Sheffield United. Sheffield United did go down to 9 men, but still a good win for Charlton at home and an important win. For Derby, they're also coming off a win away at Preston. And I think this is going to be a reasonably tight game to predict. I don't think it's going to be a one-sided affair, and I'm struggling to sort of pick an outcome for this game. Both sides are on pretty similar form going into this game, with sort of mixed form, which you often get with the championship sides. I think for this game, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw between Charlton and Derby. Charlton are a tough side to beat at home. So then we're on to another difficult game to predict in the Championship. We've got Coventry, who are top of the Championship in first place. They still look the most likely to go up, but Middlesbrough are going to give them a difficult time, you would expect, in terms of getting up automatically, and so will Ipswich. Millwall are currently in fourth place. They're still in that conversation, definitely for automatics, but right now I'd probably put Millwall in the playoffs, but not quite in the automatics. Millwall are in the better form going into this game. They got a really good 2-0 away win at Watford, and Millwall could potentially take something from this game. I'm not sure if they will win this game, though. Coventry had a bit of a boost after a good win against their rivals Leicester at home, and for that reason I think this is probably going to be a draw, but I could once again see any results in this game. I'm going to go with another draw. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw between Coventry and Millwall. Millwall were really impressive in their game against Watford, winning 2-0, and this is making this a very difficult game to predict once again. Millwall have a lot of injuries, right? So then we're on to Ipswich at home to Bristol, and Ipswich's form recently has been really good under Kieran McKenna, and they're making a real push to get into the automatic places for playoffs by the end of the season. I still think they'll probably go up automatically. I think their squad quality is too good, and I think they've got a top gaffer in Kieran McKenna. Bristol's form has been pretty mixed. They're currently 11th place in the Championship. I think this is going to be a reasonably simple Ipswich win. I'm expecting Ipswich to continue their good form after sort of a fantastic sort of last month, and for that reason I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Ipswich. So then we're on to Oxford at home to QPR. Two sides that are in rather poor form. This is Bloomfield's second game in charge after a 0-0 draw with Bristol City. And it's going to be interesting to see with another home game, can they improve on this? And judging by QPR's form, and they haven't been at their best recently, I would say it's definitely possible for Oxford to win this game against QPR. QPR are currently 11th in the table. Oxford are 23rd. I think QPR might get back to winning ways in this game. I'm going to go with a 1-0 away win for QPR, but I'm expecting a tight game here. So then we're on to Preston at home to Hull City. Another tight game, it looks like, between 5th and 6th place in the Championship. And Hull, the away side, are coming off a really impressive win away at Southampton. That was a top result for Hull City in a difficult game. Preston are coming off a poor result at home to Derby, losing 1-0. And their form's been alright in the Championship. In their last four, they've won 2 of their last 4, but one of those games was against Wednesday. So does that really count with how poor Wednesday are of a side? I think for this game, I'm going to go with another 1-1 draw. I think this is going to be a really tight game once again. So then we're on to Sheffield Wednesday at home to Birmingham. And Birmingham's away form so far this season has been so poor. They currently sit 23rd in the away table. That's ridiculous considering in the home table they sit in 5th place. So that is the difference between them potentially being in a promotion spot right now, is their poor away form for Birmingham. Wednesday are poor at home and away. And because of Birmingham's poor away form, maybe there's a chance for Wednesday to get something from this game. And maybe because of Birmingham's poor away form, maybe there's a chance for Wednesday to get something from this game. They actually got a point away at Birmingham earlier in the season, so maybe that is possible. I still think Birmingham should be able to win this game despite that poor away form, and I'm going to go with a 3-1 away win for Birmingham. So then we're on to Swansea at home to Blackburn, and Blackburn's form recently has been poor. They're winless in their last 6, and these are two sides you would say that are definitely in a bit of a relegation scrap. Swansea haven't been awful recently, and I think this being in a home game may give them a decent chance of getting a result in this game. Swansea in general don't score a huge amount of goals, and neither do Blackburn, so I'm going to go with a 1-0 win for Swansea. So then we're on to West Brom at home to Norwich, and I mean this is such an important game for both sides. Norwich need to be looking at this and saying if we win against West Brom, then we pull ourselves outside that relegation zone and also drag West Brom well and truly into it. The Baggies need to win this game, I think, under Eric Ramsey. They need to start picking up points quickly, otherwise the Hawthorns and the fans inside that ground will start to turn on the manager once again, and understandably so. And they shouldn't be down in 19th place in the Championship. What we saw from the game against Middlesbrough is, first of all, he set up West Brom and a 5 at the back, which was a bit of a strike. What we saw from the game against Middlesbrough, first of all, West Brom set up at a 5 at the back. And they looked a lot better when they went 2-0 down and looked to actually sort of dominate the game a bit more. And that's probably my concern for this sort of game is, will West Brom be attacking enough in this sort of fixture? Or will they continue to sit in and be too defensive? I expect them to be more attacking against the inferior opposition, but Norwich's form recently hasn't been awful. They picked up a good win away at Wrexham, a really good result. I think something's starting to click there, and I do think Norwich will get out of the relegation zone. I don't think West Brom will go down, but I'm not expecting a particularly good finish by the end of the season. So then we're on to Wrexham at home to Leicester. Wrexham's form recently has been good in the Championship. They did just lose to Norwich at home, which was a disappointing result in a game which you would have expected to win. They are still a good side, Wrexham, and they are difficult to beat at home. This is going to be a big challenge for Leicester. Leicester have lots of individual quality, but as a side, it's just not working together. If you look at that sort of front six, you've got Ayew, you've got Mavididi, you've got Dekodobere, you've got Fatawu, you've got Skip, you've got James. And then you look at some of the other squad they have on the bench, and you just wonder how are Leicester underperforming so badly in the Championship, and how are they currently in 13th place? Because I'm convinced their squad is better than what that is showing. But when you watch them, they're not a very good side to watch, and they usually require on sort of individual brilliance or sort of moments in games. And I think for this game, I am going to go with the Wrexham win. I think Wrexham are going to be too strong for Leicester in this game. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Wrexham. So then we're on to Southampton at home to Sheffield United, and I find this quite an interesting game because these are two sides that actually follow very similar trends so far this season. These are two sides you would have said that should be finishing the playoffs and definitely being around it to go up, considering Sheffield United got to the playoff final last year. Southampton were in the Premier League last season, but they've both followed sort of a similar trend this season after sacking managers that weren't good enough for the club, and then they have started to improve. And recently their form has started to improve, and they're starting to look like a way better side. Southampton don't look like an awful side right now, I don't think, despite sort of losing games right now and drawing a lot of games and not being able to pick up wins. Sheffield United are playing well right now and looking like a side that could have gone up and definitely gone to playoffs if they started this season better. They still could, but it's looking rather unlikely right now. They had a poor result away at Charlton where they went down to 9 men, which now means crucially Tanganga is suspended for this game. I think we're going to get goals in this game, and I think we're going to get goals for both sides. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. So then we're on to Watford versus Portsmouth. Portsmouth are currently struggling in the Championship right now. They did get a good win away at Sheffield Wednesday, but I don't think that really matters. In most sides win away at Sheffield Wednesday to get them outside the relegation zone. They are currently 21st in the Championship. Watford are in 8th place after a disappointing result to Millwall at home, but you would still expect Watford to have enough to get the job done in this game and get back to winning ways, because up to that result they were starting to play really well in the Championship and looking like a side that could go up. I think Watford should be able to win this game. They've just got too much quality with players like Imran Loser in this side, which Portsmouth don't have the quality to compete with, and for that reason I am going to go with a 3-1 win for Watford. So then we're on to Stoke at home to Middlesbrough. Stoke are currently 7th in the Championship and only one place off the playoffs. And Middlesbrough are 2nd in the Championship on 49.6 points behind Coventry and 2 points ahead of Ipswich in 3rd place. And I was reasonably impressed by them in their game against West Brom. I thought they could have been better. I thought they were excellent for the first 60 minutes and then they sort of lost control of the game. but I thought they showed a lot of character to come back and win that game. They do have some injuries to deal with right now, Middlesbrough, going into this game, so that could cause them some problems. But I still think they should have enough quality to get the job done in this game. I'm going to go with a 2-1 away win for Middlesbrough. Let me know your thoughts on my championship predictions for game week 28. There's also going to be an English football roundup coming out the day after this is uploaded. So if you enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you could actually check that one out as well, where I'm going to be rounding up the Premier League games as well as the Championship games and sort of talking about the big talking points as well as managers that could be under pressure. And if you enjoy this, it'd be great if you subscribe to your channel as well.